is Basketball 30.
Welcome, everyone, to Basketball 30, a new series here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103. We're featuring all the teams of the Shack as well as other area teams. And Shack, that's the Southern Hills Athletic Conference. We're doing both boys and girls from the schools. And today we have with us the Eastern Warriors and the Eastern Lady Warriors. We're going to talk about basketball, the upcoming season, the 24-25 season, as well as last year, the 23-24 season. And some of the changes that are going on and what we can expect from the teams and some of the fun things we learned. We'll let you get to know some of the seniors on both the ball clubs. But first this, here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
ProGen's next-generation technology flooring is designed to stand up to the demands of modern life, and it's available now at the Winchester Carpet Outlet. Because ProGen is durable, waterproof, dimensionally stable, and easy to install, it can be used in any room, including rooms that are most prone to moisture and spills, like kitchens and baths. For top-quality flooring, service, and selection at prices that'll floor you, visit the Winchester Carpet Outlet, just off State Route 32 on Tri-County Road, just a few miles west of Winchester, Ohio, and online at winchestercarpetoutlet.com.
Bertram Pharmacies, serving you at 3 locations, including Donahue Pharmacy in Georgetown, Bristow Pharmacy in Ripley, and Sardinia Pharmacy. Bertram Pharmacies are dedicated to providing you and your family with the care and individual attention that you deserve. Find your local Bertram Pharmacy online or get acquainted with one of their friendly staff members behind the counter. Give your business back to a hometown pharmacy that's invested in your local community. Bertram Pharmacies, better treatment, better care.
Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to Good Guys Radio TV and C103. For you, those of you out there listening on C103, by the way, remember you can go back later and watch this on Good Guys Radio TV. You can watch it on our Facebook channel. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it, of course, on goodguysradiotv.com. First up, we're featuring the Lady Warriors from the Eastern Lady Warriors, to be very specific. One of the more successful high school basketball programs, especially on the girls' side of things, over the last many, many years. With us today is Coach Kevin Pickrell and his seniors. Coach, welcome to Basketball 30.
Welcome. Glad to be a part of it.
Basketball 30, a lot of tradition coming out of OU. Folks, I guess we could cover that for a second. I don't think I've talked about that in any of the episodes. Basketball 30, if you've ever been to games at the Convo, you know what that is, don't you?
Absolutely. When we first came to the Southeast District, we was fortunate enough to make it to the Convo, and Luke come right on there with about 30 seconds to go and started announcing and let it fly. Basketball 30, and it's something we talk about traditionally at Eastern High School. We want to make it to Basketball 30.
Well, it's getting ready. When we talk about, you said traditionally, let's talk about the tradition. You're following, you guys continue with following one of the most successful programs in all of Southern Ohio, going all the way back to the inception of girls' sports in Ohio High School Athletic Association. How tough is it for the kids to step into the program at Eastern, maybe versus some of the other schools where maybe the expectations are not as high?
Kids coming in, they know the tradition. You don't have to say much about it. They know the footsteps they're following, but for the most part, we try not to focus on that. We want to make each team themselves and bring their own tradition with them. So, it's tough though from a coach's standpoint. I'm following a Hall of Famer, and John Burroughs is probably writing these tracks as well as should be maybe in the Hall of Fame, and then, so from that standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, I put a lot of pressure on myself just trying to follow them. I get there. I still talk to them a lot during the season and try to get what maybe I can do to make things better or what they did in these situations. But definitely a lot of tradition at Eastern High School, boys and girls, but definitely from the girls' side.
Okay, you were a longtime boys coach. You changed over a few years ago to the girls. Talk to us about how big a difference that is, or if any.
You know, I heard Rabbit speak on this earlier in the broadcast you had a few days ago, and the big thing about my standpoint was I wanted to treat it like they were just basketball players, not boys, not girls, just basketball players. We want to get the most out of them. We want to push them as hard as we can. But there is a difference. I think girls, and they might beg to differ, but they aim to please. They want to please the coach. Boys are more athletic. They're going to do what they think they can do and maybe get outside to play or whatever it may be, the defense or whatever. If they think they can pick a pass off, they just go on and react on it, where girls is more like you got to coach them to that point to get them to do that, and they don't want to make a mistake. So once you get them through that and they just learn to play and go be themselves, we become pretty good players at that point.
Well, and to that point, what do you think? Who's easier to teach? And I'll fill you in. I'm sure you'll concur with me. Most people realize the best coaches are teachers.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely. I've always said that. You know, every day I'm looking to be a better teacher myself or a better coach in some way, shape, or form. From current girls coaches to previous girls coaches to current boys coaches to previous boys coaches, and we've got great ones in this league, both ways, retired and current ones. But I think it's easier to coach girls because they. Like I said, they want to please, they listen, they want to do what you're doing. You can explain it, you show it to them what's going to happen, and they go with it. Now, like I said, boys can make you look awful good if they're athletic. I mean, they can make up for a mistake pretty quick. So, and a 10-point lead in the boys' game is not quite as big a lead as it is maybe in a girls' game. So.
Well, what about girls? When we talk about when they make a mistake, when things start falling apart, are they as creative or whatever or does it have to be more organized?
It's got to be more organized from my standpoint. And I've had the fortune to coach some pretty good players that can play at the next level, and even for them, it still had to be pretty organized. They like the structure, they want to and they want to do the best they can, but everything's different. Every team's different. Every player's different. And you just got to find out what clicks for each team and each player and go with it.
Well, let's talk about teams being a little different. But first this. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about how different this team is this year based upon what they did last year here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Your Edward Jones financial advisor, Ron Lynch, can help. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, we can work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by our office at 481 Tucker Drive in Maysville. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
For hot days and cold nights, stay comfortable with Schaefer Heating and Cooling, a family-owned full-service HVAC company serving the Hillsborough area for over 37 years. Turn to us for a geothermal system, heating and cooling a home and environmentally friendly, an air purifier and cleaner, and more. Our team members are well-equipped and required to complete over 200 hours minimum of training each year.
So contact Schaefer Heating and Cooling today.
I wanted to prove to myself that I could go to college and get my degree.
What if I went to Southern State? What if I'm able to go and become that nurse or that lawyer or that teacher? Southern State Community College allows students to rise above the circumstances that they're surrounded by and become something more than they ever dreamed possible.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Good Guys Radio TV and C103. It's Basketball 30, Southern Hills Athletic Conference. If you're just joining us with us today, it's the Eastern Warriors and Eastern Lady Warriors. First up, the Eastern Lady Warriors. And, of course, if you've been with us, we've just been having a conversation with Coach Kevin Pickrell. And, Coach, we talk about, the differences in teams. Last year, You guys struggled at times. What was the problem? You struggled offensively, at least from my perspective, probably was the biggest weakness you had last year, correct?
Absolutely. The kids played extremely hard, a great group of kids to coach, to be around, and returning 3 seniors with them and a few juniors that got to play and a freshman or 2 from last year to be sophomores. But, this actually do everything correct but put the ball in the hole. And you get behind 4 or 6 points, the next thing you know, it's the pressure. You need a bucket next trip. And sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. And learning how to cope with that and then learning how to play from behind. We played from behind majority of games. And, there's a lot of growing pains in that, but there's a lot of experiences that you don't necessarily see that I can put in real life that's not always going to go your way, but you got to figure out how to tread water and be able to get out of it. And I enjoyed coaching last year about as much as I have any year, even though we struggled. But it was refreshing to build on what we had, and the kids at the end were playing really hard and having fun doing it. So that's all you can ask for from a coach's standpoint.
Well, I had one of the other coaches in the shack that had coached other leagues. He mentioned the fact that I think sometimes that our fans, and even I miss sometimes, this is a very defensive-oriented league. It's very organized. If you go play AAU basketball, it's run up and down the floor and see how many points you can score. Here, to make it worse when you struggle offensively, you've got some of the best defense in the state right in your face.
Absolutely that, and it's not all. Everybody's not all playing zone, or everybody's not all playing man. So then it's like you're preparing multiple nights. You play Monday, Thursday. You're preparing Monday for a team that plays a 2-2-1 press, and the next night you're playing a team that's playing half court man, and you got to keep everything kind of crisp, and nothing's easy. And and I feel like we fit that mold too. We want to make it hard on everybody too. So that's just part of it. That's what makes good players, good teams, and good coaches. So that's what makes up for the shack.
Sure. Well, let's meet the seniors you have with you. Why don't you introduce yourselves, if you would, please?
I'm Lily Yupa.
I'm Tabby Schumacher.
I'm Clara Morton.
And welcome, ladies. You heard Coach and I talking about that defense. Lily, how tough? Who's the toughest team to play against defensively? Not you on offense. Who's the toughest defensive team in the league?
The toughest defensive team in the league, I would say, would be Fayetteville or North Adams, or maybe even like Peebles, maybe.
Okay. What makes them tough?
It's just like right up in your face, like all up it, like in your grill, trying to, distract you from doing what you're doing.
Now, does it matter to you one way or the other whether it's zone or man-to-man?
No, either way, just get teams trying, fluster us.
Okay. Tabby, last year you were all-league. It's pretty congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
How tough is that going to be to repeat this year?
My whole goal is just to get better than last year, improve on things. If it happens, get all league again, it happens. If it don't, then it don't. It just happens.
Let's talk about your successes. When somebody says, "Hey, what'd you do really good last year?" What do you think about in the basketball season? What made you all league? What did you do well last year?
Just playing in a role, being able to rebound real well, and then make sure everybody's getting a chance to score, being assisted.
Now, as you heard Coach talking about offense, and not necessarily do you need to pick it up or not, what does the team need to, as a team, what do you need to do to improve your offense?
Really, we just need to have faith in each other and be confident in each other and be able to, trust one another is a big thing.
All right. Clara, your role last year, tell everybody what your role was last year.
My role last year was bringing the ball up the court, trying to get play set up, tell them what we're running, and sometimes I play shooting guard, get a couple points up.
Well, and when we talk about that, you're the first one to face up against that man-to-man defense or that full-court pressure. Was it hard for you to overcome that? Okay, you're a senior now. When we look back when you were younger, when you were first 8th grade, we've talked about this with a couple of teams. It's a big difference when you get at this level, isn't it?
Yes, a big difference.
What's the biggest challenge you have with that?
The biggest challenge is when we get older and we push more, and I think the biggest thing is when the pressing and stuff is where, like, double teaming, like, they're trapping you, and it's hard to try to find someone open and overcome it. And I think the hardest thing when I was, like, bringing the ball up is where I didn't look, like, where I'm small and I couldn't see, like, quick enough. And I think it was the hardest one was North Adams, because where they pressed us, and we got at the end we got better when they pressed us, because I struggled trying to get the press out and all that.
All right. Well, Lily, something we talk about a lot when we're talking to the teams, and I think this is true whether it's NBA or whether it's I don't know, whether it's junior high. It doesn't make any difference. That's the leadership thing. And you three are seniors, you three are leadership. What are you going to tell the underclassmen that are coming up into Eastern when you go back? What do you tell them that you guys need to do? Ladies, you need to do this, you need to do that. What do you need to do to improve from last year?
If I were to give, like, the younger kids advice, I would say to work in the off season and come in and work hard and look to, work on your shooting game, dribbling and all of that, and just really work in the off season, work.
Well, and you bring up a good point. It's a little difficult to get better when you wait until practice starts in October, right?
Yes, you're already behind.
Now, what do you do to prepare individually on the off season?
Just you can, once it gets closer to, like your practices and all that, start running, work on your shooting and even just watch basketball.
All right. Okay, well, we're going to take another break. We'll be back and continue with our conversation with the ladies from Eastern right after this here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
ProGen's next-generation technology flooring is designed to stand up to the demands of modern life, and it's available now at the Winchester Carpet Outlet. Because ProGen is durable, waterproof, dimensionally stable, and easy to install, it can be used in any room, including rooms that are most prone to moisture and spills, like kitchens and baths. For top-quality flooring, service, and selection at prices that'll floor you, visit the Winchester Carpet Outlet, just off State Route 32 on Tri-County Road, just a few miles west of Winchester, Ohio, and online at winchestercarpetoutlet.com.
Bertram Pharmacies, serving you at 3 locations, including Donahue Pharmacy in Georgetown, Bristow Pharmacy in Ripley, and Sardinia Pharmacy. Bertram Pharmacies are dedicated to providing you and your family with the care and individual attention that you deserve. Find your local Bertram Pharmacy online or get acquainted with one of their friendly staff members behind the counter. Give your business back to a hometown pharmacy that's invested in your local community. Bertram Pharmacies, better treatment, better care.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Basketball 30. I'm Don Bowles, and joining us today, again, if you're just joining us, it's the ladies from Eastern, the Eastern Lady Warriors, and we're talking basketball, and we've talked a little bit about history for the team. We've talked a little bit about how tough defenses are and the like. Tabby, let's talk to everybody about what it's like to be playing for the Eastern Warriors, for being an Eastern Lady Warrior. Is that a big deal versus playing for some other school?
I think it's a big deal because, like, all the history is a big thing, and then, like, you just want to repeat it and, like, continue to get better for our program, and it represents our school really well.
Claire, you're going to have. We talked about how tough it is bringing the ball up the floor. When you know the girls that are coming, are you going to have help this year, you think?
Oh, yeah, totally. We don't have, I think this year is when we're going to do way better than last year. We're going to work more together, talk more, communicate and all that. And I think this year we're going to do good, better than last year. And I think that when we get pressed by different teams, we're going to talk, tell each other where to go, and I think it's going to help us a lot in pressing. And
okay, all right, Coach. How's the team when the fans come in? How is the team's makeup going to change, and how a different style? Anything that's going to be different when they come and see you this year?
Well, we hope to be able to put the ball in the hole a little bit more frequently for them. But, it's not going to change a whole lot. We do what we do. We do mix it up some, whether we're going to come out and play a half-court man or half court zone or pressing type. I can't sit here and say we're going to do one or the other a whole lot or what we're going to dial in and do mainly of. But we're going to throw a little bit at everybody with what we got. But personnel dictates a lot of that. And in high school, I feel like as a coach, you kind of got to coach to your personnel. I mean, y'all want to have a style, and you kind of got that as a base, but you want to feed off that and use what works, what makes them put them in a situation to succeed.
Well, and we have your 3 seniors here. You lost 5 seniors last year. You had a pretty good JV team, though, last year. You had some pretty good success. Let's talk about the other personnel that's not here today. What's that going to look like?
So we're not real good in numbers. We got 16 kids all overall right now coming up through conditioning. But, our junior class is pretty good. They're going to help with some ball handling, as Clara was talking about. They're all good kids. It's the sophomores. We got a couple nice freshmen. We've got a good overall group. I mean, we've got a good core to work with. We're not overloaded in one class. We've got a little bit in each class. So from a coach's standpoint, that's really good. And something that gives you a hand to work with each year. But, I'm looking a lot from these seniors and my 3 juniors that a lot of leadership. They're going to get a lot of minutes, and they got to hopefully do what I'm wanting them to do, and hopefully we can get some success out of it.
When we talk about kids coming up, this doesn't start when they get to varsity, does it?
It does not. We here at Eastern, we work from kindergarten up. I'm over top of all the Pee Wee program. We've got kids anywhere from pre-K clear to 6th grade that's playing in Pee Wee. We got actually 2 teams in about every level this year, which would be a first in my career here at Eastern for girls. And then my 7th and 8th grade, I got not a lot of great numbers there, but I got 2 teams, so I'm fortunate. We're fortunate there, not me. The school's fortunate, the team's fortunate. But I see some progress down the road. We're going to continue to get better. We did lose 5 seniors, but I'm going to lean a lot on these 3 right here sitting with me to get us to where we want to get to.
All right, Tabby, 13 games in league play. What's the predicted Eastern Lady Warriors record?
I'm not going to predict anything. Last year we were 4-9. Our ultimate goal is just to get better and be at least 7-6.
7-6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Lily, you're sitting there shaking your head. You're liking this. All right. What do you think your record's going to be overall? 22. There's 22 regular season games. What's your record going to be?
Again, we're just trying to be better than last year, and I think we're shooting for 12-10.
Okay. All right. Clara, you agree with this? You good with this?
Yes.
Okay. Coach, what do you think?
I like that they want to be above 500. Sure, that's a starting point. We can work off that. I think we're better than that, but given each night, I think there's a lot of good teams out there. I think the Fayetteville North Adams, right off the top of your head, is going to be pretty good. I know Lynchburg lost 3,000 points, but they're going to come back with a pretty good JV team that they had, and Fairfield still got several good players, so it'll be interesting. White Oaks got their strengths, so it'll be fun.
We have about 30 seconds before we end this segment. Quick question, and it's probably we could talk for days about this. The new 7 divisions, how much is that going to affect Eastern?
It's different. We're going to be smaller than we thought, so we're in Division 6, so I think it'll benefit us, to be honest.
As opposed to, we need to emphasize it to the fans, the boys are going to be Division 5.
The boys will be
that's going to be a little confusing for folks as well.
And I think it's just the opposite with North Adams. I think they're 5 and their boys are 6. So, yes, it's definitely confusing, but at the same time, I think 6 is probably more where we're capable of competing at as opposed to 5.
And I think it's safe to say you're going to see a lot of the teams that you saw in the past in D3, but you're also going to see some D4 teams that you haven't seen. And people say, oh, they're smaller, so that's easier. That's not necessarily true, though, right?
That's correct. I mean, White Oaks is Division 6 that we'd never have played against. I mean, there's obviously other teams that I'm forgetting, but Racine Southern's one I've seen on there that's be Division 6, and we've never played against them. But it's kind of different, so it'd be interesting.
Okay. We'll take one final break. We'll be back and wrap things up with the ladies from Eastern before we get ready right around the corner. When I say wrap things up, we're not wrapping the show up. We'll have the guys joining us, the Eastern Warriors. But first this here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Your Edward Jones financial advisor, Ron Lynch, can help. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, we can work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by our office at 481 Tucker Drive in Maysville. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
For hot days and cold nights, stay comfortable with Schaefer Heating and Cooling, a family-owned full-service HVAC company serving the Hillsborough area for over 37 years. Turn to us for a geothermal system, heating and cooling a home and environmentally friendly, an air purifier and cleaner, and more. Our team members are well equipped and required to complete over 200 hours minimum of training each year.
So contact Schaefer Heating and Cooling today.
Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. Good Guys Radio TV, C103. It's Basketball 30. Again, the Eastern Lady Warriors with me just around the corner. As I said, we'll have the Eastern Warriors joining us. But before we do that, Coach, you heard the girls' predictions about the record. We talked a little bit about last year. What's the biggest challenge? You talked about putting the ball in the hole. What's the biggest challenge you're going to have in the league this year for the Eastern Lady Warriors to be successful and make those goals that they've set or exceed them?
You know, I think scheduling's kind of tough, to be honest with you. I mean, of course, when everybody's good above you, it makes it seem like it's tougher than it really is. But, you know, you play 3 league games in a week, and your last one in that week's North Adams on a Saturday night. That's tough, and you bounce back and play on that following Monday. So you play 4 games in about 9 days. That's all league games. That's challenging from our standpoint. But, you know, I think they're on the right path. I think 7-6 gives us something to shoot forward. I hope we're a little better than that. I think we can be better than that. But at the same time, you know, if you can be really good defensively, but if you can't score the ball, it just puts a lot of different challenges on you. And I think that's the biggest – I don't want to say fear for them, because these kids all here can score a little bit, but they got to do more of it. So, and they got to be more confident, as they said. So I think that's the biggest thing for us.
Tabby, what would you say to the fans out there? They're thinking about coming. You know, it's tough. Eastern fans are used to winning. Their expectations are pretty high. What would you say to those fans? How important is it for them to come and watch you? How important is it to support you when you make your mistakes, when you have your challenges, not just when you win?
I think it's important for the fans to come, because it still shows that they support no matter what, even win or lose, make a mistake or not. They're there to support no matter what.
Lily, we have better, whether you know it or not, we have better fan support in this league for girls basketball than probably just about any other league around. How much difference does it make your play? Does it make you play better?
I do think that when the crowd is all pumping us all up and giving us all the motivation to play even harder.
Yeah. We talked about that Saturday night game. Coach Pickrell mentioned it. They scheduled the North Adams girls on that night. Big crowd, right?
Yes. It was.
Loud crowd, right?
It was a big crowd.
Yeah. Nervous?
Yeah, I was a little nervous, but it's good to have a big crowd because it's popping you up and make you work harder and show them how, tough, and show them how much you want it.
Right. All right. Good stuff. Coach, one final thought. The team, it's again, every team, I don't care if you're going to win 13 league games or what, it's always a work in progress. Your team, how close are they being ready to play this year?
You know, I definitely think we're a lot closer at this time of year than we was a year ago. But there's a lot of things that happen in the next 4 weeks. We got to grind it out and really dial in what we're wanting to do here. And we've got a pretty challenging scrimmage. We play 4 out of our 5 scrimmages on the road. So I think we're ready. I put us in a situation where we're going to get tougher one way or the other, whether we're ready or not, we're going to get tougher. So I'm looking forward to it, and like I said, I'm enjoying it so far.
It's a good note to end on. Thanks, folks. We appreciate you. And folks out there, if you're watching or listening to this, make sure you tell your friends. Hear all about Southern Hills Athletic Conference basketball. And up next, we'll have Coach Rob Buechler and all the guys from the Eastern Warriors join us. But first this here on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV.
wanted to prove to myself that I could go to college and get my degree.
What if I went to Southern State? What if I'm able to go and become that nurse or that lawyer or that teacher? Southern State Community College allows students to rise above the circumstances that they're surrounded by and become something more than they ever dreamed possible.
ProGen's next generation technology flooring is designed to stand up to the demands of modern life, and it's available now at the Winchester Carpet Outlet. Because ProGen is durable, waterproof, dimensionally stable, and easy to install, it can be used in any room, including rooms that are most prone to moisture and spills, like kitchens and baths. For top quality flooring, service, and selection at prices that'll floor you, visit the Winchester Carpet Outlet, just off State Route 32 on Tri-County Road, just a few miles west of Winchester, Ohio, and online at winchestercarpetoutlet.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to C103 and Good Guys Radio TV. I'm Don Bowles, and once again, it's Basketball 30. And as promised, joining me now, it's the Eastern Warriors, the guys' team for the Eastern. You had heard the girls talking in the last half hour. We'll have a half hour now of the boys and find out all about what their season is going to be, what they're going to do after last year's success, and what they're doing going forward. But more than that, we'll get to meet some of them, hear some of the personalities, and see what's happening. But first, this here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
Bertram Pharmacies, serving you at 3 locations, including Donahue Pharmacy in Georgetown, Bristow Pharmacy in Ripley, and Sardinia Pharmacy. Bertram Pharmacies are dedicated to providing you and your family with the care and individual attention that you deserve. Find your local Bertram Pharmacy online or get acquainted with one of their friendly staff members behind the counter. Give your business back to a hometown pharmacy that's invested in your local community. Bertram Pharmacies, better treatment, better care.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Your Edward Jones financial advisor, Ron Lynch, can help. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, we can work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by our office at 481 Tucker Drive in Maysville. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Basketball 30 here on Good Guys Radio TV C103. If you happen to be listening to us now on C103, remember, you can go to our Facebook page, you can go to YouTube, or you can go to goodguysradiotv.com, and you can watch this. Now, there's a cool thing about this, in addition to the fact it's free, that's pretty nice, but in addition to that, you can watch this anyplace, anytime. You can go back and watch it later this evening, tomorrow, whenever, but you can also go back and watch it as many times as you like, all for free, and we'd like you to do that. If you like what we're doing, tell the advertisers you appreciate them supporting our efforts here as we bring you high school sports on C103 and Good Guys Radio TV. Join us here, Coach Rob Buechler and the Eastern Warriors. Coach, how many years, I should remember this, okay, but you were a long-time JV coach before you were a varsity coach, right?
Yes, I worked with Coach Lewis. He got me into coaching in junior high and then on through with his JV team and freshman teams. Mentor to me for, I think, 12, 14 years. Then I took over the varsity program in 96.
And Coach Lewis had pretty good amount of success, too, didn't he?
Coach Lewis was successful. My previous coaches that I played under were successful. So I've had a lot of good mentors.
Well, and we're talking about the big changes. I've been talking to most of the coaches about it. This year, you guys are it's going to be 7 divisions. And you guys are actually going to be in a division above the girls. How much you're going to be? What, D5, Division 5, correct?
Yeah, we're Division 5. There's 7 divisions. We were, I think, 21 students, competitive balance over.
Right.
But a lot of the teams are the ones we've seen anyhow. Now there's a few larger ones, but we're in the same division we would have probably been if we'd have stayed in 4 divisions.
Right, and for most of the folks out there, so the ones that really keep up with the basketball, you're going to see a few more of the D2 schools. You're not going to see D1 or former D2 schools. You'll see a few more of the D2 schools, but as you say, predominantly it'll just be schools you played before, right?
It'll be the Fairlands, the Wheelersburg, Minford. Then we'll see Amphicentric, Harvest Prep, those schools, and like you said, maybe a few of the D2s that bump down, but a lot of them are in the Division IV division.
Well, I know you keep up with it, and having been around for a long time, question I'd like to ask you again for the real basketball fans out there that don't just keep up with Eastern and not just with Shack basketball in the Southeast District, who's going to be the teams to watch that we expect to see later at district championships? We see it at the Convo and region. Who should they be looking at?
Well, I think Minford's one of the top ones. They've got 2 returning starters back with Montgomery, and I think the other big kid, 6'6".
Right.
I think that Fairland's going to be pretty good. They're always good year in, year out. You got Portsmouth is up and down. Wheelersburg's always there. There's a lot of teams in, Afrocentric coming down, or maybe Harvest Prep, depending which one goes to which Central Division or the Southeast.
Right.
So you've got to play, you got to be ready, and there's going to be that competitiveness.
Well, when we talk about it, it's interesting. You talk about Afrocentric and Harvest Prep. They're playing more of an AAU style of basketball, I guess is what I would call it anyway. But we talk about, I think, a good example. Every year people watch Portsmouth come in. And Portsmouth, I don't know, they've got a bunch of losses or whatever, but Portsmouth is one of the most physical and successful teams based upon the record of any team we face, aren't they?
They've got a lot of good athletes. And with the mobility and the transferring of athletes today, you don't know for sure what team's going to have what. So you got to be ready to play. And they do have, like I said, inner city kids. They're physical, very aggressive. We saw that in 2002 when we got to state tournament. One young man that played for them ended up going to Thomas More and was their leading rebounder. But each year you see different talent.
Now, last year you had a very high success rate. You were 10-3 in league play. I'm going to talk just a little bit about what kind of things do you have to overcome, those 10-3. What do you have to overcome to make the team better this year from last year? How's it compare?
Well, we were young last year, and we would be somewhat young again this year. I think one thing was our defense was pretty good. Our offense had to get better, and I think it's some of the things that we worked on this summer. I think we're going to have more depth this year than we've had in the past. I think size will be one of the factors when you're playing in Division V. You see a lot of 6'3", 6'4", 6'5",
Right,
6'6"
right.
kids. We're going to have some size now. I think the biggest thing we want to look at is how to keep our team concentrating on our team efforts, because I think we're going to succeed a lot more with everybody participating and giving help that way.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Talk more Eastern Warrior basketball. But first this, here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
For hot days and cold nights, stay comfortable with Schaefer Heating and Cooling, a family-owned full-service HVAC company serving the Hillsborough area for over 37 years. Turn to us for a geothermal system, heating and cooling a home and environmentally friendly, an air purifier and cleaner, and more. Our team members are well equipped and required to complete over 200 hours minimum of training each year.
So contact Schaefer Heating and Cooling today.
I wanted to prove to myself that I could go to college and get my degree.
What if I went to Southern State? What if I'm able to go and become that nurse or that lawyer or that teacher? Southern State Community College allows students to rise above the circumstances that they're surrounded by and become something more than they ever dreamed possible.
Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to Basketball 30 here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103. Joining me, the Eastern Warriors, and a team that had a lot of success last year, but I'm sure they'd like to. Season's not perfect, they say. We always talk to the coaches, what's their goal? Their goal is, of course, to win the state championship. And, of course, we'd like to see all the teams do that, but that's always a big goal. So no matter how good you were last year, unless you did that, you can, of course, improve upon that. And, Coach, to that point, when the fans come out and watch you guys play this year, personnel-wise especially, what are they going to see different from last year? You're talking about your deeper, bigger. How are you going to do that?
I think this year we've got more depth, as I said before. I've got 5 seniors and 3 or 4 juniors, but we've got several sophomores that have an opportunity to play. So I hope that we can turn the effort up even more. And I think we had great effort. That's one of the things we always ask for. But I think we're going to be able to go at people a little harder. We want to be more transitional if we can. I think that it's going to be a team attitude and how everybody flows together and gets used to each other. Because like anything that you do, I say we're creatures of habit, and if we can get habits that's flowing good for the team, then we're going to be successful.
I assume because you really didn't lose that many players. Tempo probably about the same, and the sets you run. And I think it's interesting. You and I have had a conversation several times. I'm sure you won't mind me mentioning this. It's really not about doing different things. It's about doing things better, isn't it?
Well, we call it PAD, pay attention to details, and we'd like to, if we're doing something, be good at it. And I tell them we're like a machine. If one of the parts isn't working properly, then it's not going to run very well. And that's what we want to kind of do with our system and use our kids where they're probably best at.
Sure. I've had several good coaches tell me the toughest thing to do is hide a player's weaknesses, and that's tough to do because that's what it's really about. You want to be able to utilize their strengths and not necessarily hide their weaknesses, but lessen their weaknesses.
You're right, and I think you got to find the strengths and weaknesses of your team and then exploit that if you can. And I know we're going to be a little bit bigger this year. May not be as fast in some places. We're going to miss the seniors. Luke Haney, he did a good job on the glass. Right. Wyatt Hopp was a very strong kid, overcome a lot of adversity, and then Carson McCord was just a great teammate. Right. And that's what we want with these kids. And we want a common goal. It's not individual goals going out there. We want everybody to be focused on one thing. And like you said, I think team comes first. And when we get to the playing and we get the process going, see how we do with it.
Cade Walkup is our first young gentleman here next to Coach Bugler, and next up Landon Kohler, and of course in the back row back there we have Drew Edmiston and Andrew Campbell. Bryce Murphy not able to be with us, but he'll be playing this year. Cade, what did you do or what have you done preparing yourself this season for basketball? You've been playing probably seemingly all your life, I assume. Where have you come on this journey? What are you doing now to finish this senior year?
Well, got here a little quicker than what I was expecting. It's just really about being a leader and being there for your team and being together, doing everything together, picking each other up when one's down, whether it's on the court or off the court, just always being there for each other and picking each other up.
Coach talks about team. We all talk about team because basketball, especially, is not a team you can play by yourself. There are games that that you can play and make a monster difference every single night. But I don't know, pitcher for a baseball team or whatever. It's not true necessarily in basketball. What have you done personally? What do you need to improve upon last year to make you a better team? On your individual skills and the like.
Just ball handling, shooting. Being a better teammate myself, picking my teammates up better, being a better leader for sure. I'm a senior this year. We got these guys, the younger guys. They're all looking up to us. So, setting the best goal the best example as I can for the younger guys with my last year, and just take the time and enjoy it.
Right. Now, Landon, we told you we were going to pick on you. I won't pick on you too badly. But Landon, you said you'd never watched Good Guys. Have you been living under a rock, or what is this? I thought we were the only thing you guys watched. There aren't any other channels. You probably did away with your Dish Network and all that, right?
I guess.
You will after today, though, right?
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Yes. Now, how many people in the family are going to be watching today?
Everyone. I'll get everyone to watch it.
Are they going to be critical?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay. There we go. Well, Landon, to that point, what's it like when the fans are critical? How tough is that to deal with?
I just don't really listen to the fans. I just listen to my teammates and my coach and just focus on that and focus on what I'm doing.
All right. Now, when we talk about listening to your coach, describe to everybody what coach is talking to you when he calls you over in his friendly fashion that he's been known to use. He calls you over for a timeout after you've just blown a 10-point lead. What kind of things is he talking to you about over there?
He's talking about how we need to, pick up on defense and not let the game get away from us and control the tempo and just pay attention to what you're doing. And when you're on the bench, watch what like the opposing team is doing and see what you can do to better.
How much difference does it make when coach calls that timeout?
I think it makes a really big difference because like it resets like all the players on the court and just resets their mind and like brings them back to what they need to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, now when we talk about Drew Edmiston, toughest team to play against, the team you always look for playing against in the Shack, or otherwise for that matter.
I gotta say, North Adams probably just the environment we have, the fans we got, just always a good game, always close and always high tension.
Yeah. Does that make you play better?
I think it does. I think it I don't know, helps the team get excited, makes for a good game all the time.
Now, Andrew, I hear you're going to be the scoring leader on the team this year. Is that correct?
Maybe, yes.
You've been working on your shooting, though, right?
Yes, I have.
Now, what's your favorite position to play on the team? What do you think your role is going to be?
I believe my role is just to help each other get better, maybe take a few cheap shots at practice. But the contact will help in the game because the foul will be called.
Sure.
So if I make the team better, have good morale, get a good scoring run, celebrate on the bench, hype them up, that's what I'll do.
All right. Well, now somebody said something about you've been working on your 3-point shooting. Do you have a sweet spot on the floor that you like to shoot from?
I have my sweet spot is the corner 3 right next to the home team bench for Kaiser Court at Eastern High School, and that's where I get my points out.
Well, that's a great spot to be. That way you can get pats on the back and hear the applause and all that. That's a perfect place to make that. If you're going to hit one, that's where to make it. So good stuff. Easy to find you too down there when they bring that ball down and go for the corner. It's good to get done. On that note, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back and we'll have more right after this on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
ProGen's next-generation technology flooring is designed to stand up to the demands of modern life, and it's available now at the Winchester Carpet Outlet. Because ProGen is durable, waterproof, dimensionally stable, and easy to install, it can be used in any room, including rooms that are most prone to moisture and spills, like kitchens and baths. For top-quality flooring, service, and selection at prices that'll floor you, visit the Winchester Carpet Outlet, just off State Route 32 on Tri-County Road, just a few miles west of Winchester, Ohio, and online at winchestercarpetoutlet.com.
Bertram Pharmacies, serving you at 3 locations, including Donahue Pharmacy in Georgetown, Bristow Pharmacy in Ripley, and Sardinia Pharmacy. Bertram Pharmacies are dedicated to providing you and your family with the care and individual attention that you deserve. Find your local Bertram Pharmacy online or get acquainted with one of their friendly staff members behind the counter. Give your business back to a hometown pharmacy that's invested in your local community. Bertram Pharmacies, better treatment, better care.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Basketball 30 here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103. And it's the Eastern Warriors joining me here this afternoon. Earlier today, it was the Eastern Lady Warriors. And, of course, the Eastern Warriors, again, as we talked about, coming off a great degree of success. And, of course, leveraging that to improve upon that as well. Cade, how you talk about being a good leader and a team leader and picking up your teammates and all that. Sometimes that can be a challenge, but how much of that is leading by example and how much of it's actually turning around and say, hey, get in gear, what do you want to do, how much is that either way?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it goes into just being a leader and then just being like, hey, come on, let's go. Like, play some defense. I mean, it ain't really that hard. I mean, sometimes it can be different things. It could be one totally different thing, opposite from the other. I mean, it just depends on what the situation is and the circumstance, really.
Well, I asked Drew about who the toughest team was to play against. You mentioned defense. Who was the toughest player to defend last year in the Shack?
Branson Copus.
Why?
Oh, he's quick, really quick. His feet I mean, you just watch his waist and he's moving different ways. You never know where he's going to go. It could be left, it could be right, he could be pulling up, he could be going all the way. I mean, you just never really knew. And 90% of the time, I'll probably go in. So,
well, when you talk about that, how much better did he make you?
Oh, a lot. He made me want to play defense because I mean, a lot of times we struggled to stop him. So, I mean, I was doing everything I could to stop him, trying to stop him. Barber did a really good job at guarding him last year. I mean, a lot of times he has his hand in his face. He was still knocking shots down. So, I mean, sometimes there just ain't much you can do.
Right. Now, Landon, your role on the team, what's the best thing you can do? I mean, you play a certain position, you do what the coach tells you to do. What's the best thing you can do to pick the team up, as far as your activity on the floor? Be a good shooter, be a good defender. What do you need to do?
Probably be a good shooter and just crash the boards.
Size-wise, does that make a difference in crashing the boards?
Yeah, especially when I was younger, I wasn't as strong, and I was a lot skinnier than what I am now. I mean, I'm still skinny, but I was really little and just got bounced around. But now I'm getting a little bit bigger, and I can bounce other people around, and I can jump higher now, and I think I can get some boards for our team.
We see a lot of teams, and you'll hear us talk about in tournaments when we're doing a broadcast, we talk about schools that have football versus schools that don't have football. Is it a big difference between schools of physicality when you go out there crashing the boards?
Yeah, when they're when they have football, they train very hard in the weight room, and we try to at Eastern. We have a pretty good weight room, and we try to lift hard and push each other. But the football schools, they're really strong. They lift all year round.
Well, we talk about banging under the boards. You like to bang or no?
Not really.
I see Cade shaking his head no.
He's getting much better.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Drew, when we talk about what's your favorite part of game time? You like the non-league, you like the league. What do you like doing with basketball? What's it bring to you?
I think the favorite thing about game time is got to be before we even get on the court, just mentally preparing for the team, getting out our strategy. And basketball is really, when it comes this time of year, it's all I'm thinking about. It's all I've focused on and put all my time in and try to get better and help for the team.
Sure. Andrew, I'm sure you do a lot of other things besides play basketball at Eastern. How important is basketball to you and priority, amongst all the things you're doing?
At Eastern, I put basketball, when it comes to this part of the year, number one. I care about this team. I care about the school very much. And I just like being a Warrior.
All right. Good stuff. Landon, 13 games in the league. I know Coach always looks for that gold ball. What's your record going to be in the Shack this year?
Well, we're going to try to win every game, try our hardest, and hopefully I'm thinking that we can go undefeated, but it's still going to be very hard. There's a lot of difficult teams, and we're going to have to work at it.
So you think 13-0?
Yeah.
Okay. Drew, I'm going to step it up a little bit. 22 games regular season. I got to think about this. That'd be 28 games to win the state championship. You go 13-0. What's your record going to be overall when you finish the day, when you walk away at your last game?
I would like to say we would go 28-0, but can't be perfect all the time, and I want to be confident, but I got to be somewhat realistic. I'll say, 27-1. I'll take 27-1.
All right, Coach, you're smiling. We all talk about scores. We talk about records. That's not what it's about, is it?
No. You look at the season, and I know probably one of the better seasons that I felt like somebody said, well, you did your best job coaching. We only won 7 games that year and almost beat West Union in the sectional finals. And then we come back, we've been 24-2. We've had some 22-3 seasons. And, it all comes back to, did we improve? Did we get better?
Right.
I mean, the leagues, we play in a good league. I think the Southern Hills League definitely is one of the better leagues around for non-football. And there's a lot of good teams in the league this year. We open up with Fayetteville, first league game of the year at their place.
New coach with experience,
Mr.
right?
Stewart, yep. And they've got some players, so we're going to have to go up there and be ready to play. Every night we come out, we have to be prepared, because if we don't play up to our standards, we can get beat.
Now, that said, we can talk about them not counting, but the fans all worry about the record and whether we win or lose or whatever.
Well, somebody made a comment one of the meetings they had, we need to get some different color shirts. I said, I'm not wearing green. I'm not wearing one of those other colors. I'm a Eastern Warrior. And like Andrew said, he's proud to be a Warrior. The people in our community are very supportive. They like to watch basketball. You go anywhere, they keep asking, how are you going to be? How are you going to be? I said, it depends on how hard we condition, how much we lift. Yeah, we're lifting a lot. Maybe not as much as football, but we probably lift 6-7 months out of the year. And we've got to get stronger. So, yeah, you talk about what the success is. I look at it down the road when I see these kids are doctors, they're lawyers, they're hardworking, they're productive citizens. Then they're asking me, hey, you're going to coach my kid. I don't know how many years I'll keep doing this. I enjoy it. I got time. I have fun when I go to the gym. But that's the whole point of it, is as long as you enjoy it and the kids enjoy it, and we're working hard toward a common goal.
Okay. On that note, we'll take one final break. We'll be back with the Eastern Warriors one final time here on Basketball 30 on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Your Edward Jones financial advisor, Ron Lynch, can help. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, we can work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by our office at 481 Tucker Drive in Maysville. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC.
For hot days and cold nights, stay comfortable with Schaefer Heating and Cooling, a family-owned full-service HVAC company serving the Hillsborough area for over 37 years. Turn to us for a geothermal system, heating and cooling a home, and environmentally friendly, an air purifier and cleaner, and more. Our team members are well equipped and required to complete over 200 hours minimum of training each year.
So contact Schaefer Heating and Cooling today.
I wanted to prove to myself that I could go to college and get my degree.
What if I went to Southern State? What if I'm able to go and become that nurse or that lawyer or that teacher? Southern State Community College allows students to rise above the circumstances that they're surrounded by and become something more than they ever dreamed possible.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin to wrap things up here for another episode of Basketball 30 with the Eastern Warriors. Coach, we keep talking about preparation, how good the team's going to do. Let's tease the folks just a little bit. How good was the summer? What'd you guys do, and how did it look this summer?
We had our days that we traveled. We went up to Larry Huggins camp, and we traveled around different shootouts, Findlay and that. And the thing with us, we probably didn't have the same 7 all the time, but we had 12 to 13 kids that could all play. So it's interesting. We've got pieces that can put together. I'm excited about the team. I think if we can get a good work ethic going and consistent, we're going to be pretty good.
I had somebody say to me about your ball club, the biggest thing that you're going to face is trying to get all the players playing time. Is that true?
That's true. I mean, we're young. We've got seniors, and we talk about attitude and effort, 2 things they can control. Some of the other things you can't, and we've got to look at how we can make each person better as a teammate. And some of the things we look at, sometimes you may not be playing your best, and somebody else steps up. How can you help them, and us also then us help you to get back to where you were at too?
Right.
There's 2 things we're looking at. So we're excited about it. I think it's going to be a fun season. As I said before, I think these guys they know they want to work hard. They're going to set some goals. We haven't talked about what we want to do win-wise, where we want to place. They know. I told them we're going to compete and try to get to Columbus again, or now it's Dayton in that the state tournament.
Right.
We did it in 202. We were close in the earlier years. We're doing some things to make changes, see if that can work. But we just got to take it one game at a time.
All right. On that note, folks, we want to thank you for watching and listening. And, of course, we want to thank all the guys from the Eastern Warriors. The best thing we can say to you, folks, whether win, lose, or draw, whether your favorite team's winning a lot of games, the best thing you can do is still go out and support them in a positive manner. Go out and watch a game. That's the best thing part of it. They'll tell you they play better. It's much better when we have a gym full of fans making noise and cheering them on. Support the activities of all the high school kids in our area. And on that note, again, we appreciate you listening and watching. I'm Don Bowles, wishing you a very pleasant day here on Good Guys Radio TV and C103.